What's going on? It's your boy Fly Guy J. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing a dope plugin by Wavesfactory called Cassette. And what this plugin does is basically emulate an old tape cassette player or a Walkman. Anything you run through it, it gives it that old vintage sound that you could only get from playing your media back through a tape cassette player. But before I get into this plugin, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Click that bell so you can get the notifications whenever I drop a new video. Along with plugin reviews, I'm also going to start dropping tutorials on how to use Pro Tools, how to mix and master using different plugins. So yeah, man, tune in, hit that subscribe button. And if you like the content, make sure you give me a thumbs up after this video. But with no further ado, let's get into this plugin and see what we can do. So I got the Cassette plugin pulled up, and I have it right now put on a group channel in Machine, which is the DAW I use for making my beats. Right now it's set to the default setting, and if you look over here, I have it in bypass, so it's not active. What I'll do is I'll play the piano melody that I created, and I'll let that run through, and then we'll engage this plugin on the default setting and see what it sounds like. So this is the loop I created. I use a Rhodes patch and Keyscape for anybody that's interested. It already has kind of a lo-fi sound just based on the sound selection I use. But we're gonna engage this plugin and we're gonna kick it up a notch. So this is with the plugin engaged. It basically has 4 different tapes that it emulates. This is the first one. This is the second one, third, and the fourth. So they each have their own distinct sound. And along with the 4 different tape types, you also have 3 different tape decks that you can emulate. So right now it's on the Pro deck setting, or you can change it to the Home deck or Micro. And as you can see, as you move up from Pro to Micro, the sound gets thinner, and it almost seems narrower also, like more mono. I'm not sure if that's what's going on, but it sounds thinner and narrower. Back to the Pro setting, you see you get more low end, more of the high end comes back. If you go back to Micro, it cuts off some of the low end, the high end, and it feels like the sound gets thinner. So what I'll do now is I'll go into the presets. They have factory presets here and also some artist presets. Let's start with the artist presets. I like this one. This one's called Warm Keys. You can hear it has like an EQ boost in the low end, bring those piano keys up. I'll disengage it real quick. So this is the original sample. And then with the plugin re-engaged, it just brightens it up, lives it up, makes it warm. You can hear the tape kind of fluctuating. You're getting some artifacts in here, some noise. Fitting name, Badly Chewed. You can hear the tape is really damaged, old. You get some flutter and some wow. This preset is called Snapping. And you can hear it kind of emulates the tape getting snagged. It's like it snags and then it recatches on the tape reel. This is a dope setting too. Radio tone. Kind of emulates a radio or a telephone EQ. It's dope. like this setting right here. Smooth, subtle. Disengage it, original sample, and then with the plugin re-engaged. So real quick, let's talk about some of these knobs down here at the bottom. So this erasures knob basically emulates how many times that tape has been re-recorded over. If any of you are familiar with Walkmans and tape recorders back in the day, what you could do is you can overdub on that tape. So it could have one song on there and you could record over that tape and put a new song on there or a new recording on there. So what this knob is doing is it's emulating how many times has that tape been re-recorded over. Right now it's set to 20 times, which is the max, or you can emulate a brand new tape that hasn't been recorded over yet. So this would be the cleanest setting. 10 times, 20 times. And what you'll notice is the higher you get with the number of recordings, the more degraded that your quality of that sound is. This spread knob is the stereo field, the stereo width. So 100% would be wide open, wide stereo sound. 0% would be everything is right down the middle. It's a mono sound. Stability. This knob here, if it's at 100%, then it basically emulates the perfect tape deck. It's a brand new machine. As you decrease this, it starts to emulate more of a used tape deck machine, maybe one that even needs repair. If you drop it all the way down to 0, you'll start to hear some warping, some pitch changing. If you wanted to go in and tweak those settings, you can tweak those settings here. So wow, flutter, so you can hear how drastic that is here. Now let's turn that back up to 100. Perfect quality, brand new tape deck. But as you decrease this, it starts to introduce those artifacts from the tape deck not being brand new, having the wear and tear. This static knob and this dynamic knob, these control how much noise the plugin introduces. So to exaggerate it, you can hear that static noise. Each tape has its own noise. And each deck has its own noise. So you can play with those and get creative, get the sound that you're looking for. This artifacts knob, I believe this introduces other forms of noise other than just a straight static noise. Like it'll emulate a scratch being on the tape, some wear and tear. Maybe there's a kink in the tape. So you get those artifacts introduced to the sound. So you can hear the sound isn't steady. It's kind of like skipping a little bit. You can tweak settings here. Dropouts. Snapping. So now you can hear a lot of artifacts are being introduced. So there's a lot of settings you can play with in the gear panel here, the settings panel. But yeah, man, it's the dope plugin. The last thing I want to do before I wrap this up is I'll bring the drums in, and then we'll throw this on the drums and see what it can do. Pull up this drums. I have it on a group, so it affects the whole entire drum group. pull it up here. So it's on default setting now. We'll go ahead and engage that. So you can already hear a big difference just from engaging the plugin. Disengaged, engaged. So you can get a real old school sound out of your drums, man. I like this lo-fi drum set. Increase the input a little bit. If you want to make the output louder, you can do that with this knob here. So yeah, let's disengage both plugins on the drums and the melody so we can see where we came from. So this is the original without any of the Wavesfactory cassette plugins active. And now let's turn this into a nice lo-fi sound. We'll re-engage those plugins. So yeah, man, dope plugin. If you're into making lo-fi beats, or if you want your samples to sound old school, dusty, have some tape saturation, introduce some noise, some wow, some flutter, this is the plugin you want to use, man. I'll leave a link in the description. Shout out to Plugin Boutique. I'll drop that link in the description where you can go ahead and cop this thing, man. And if you've used it or you got any tips, feel free to drop a comment. And stay tuned. I'll be doing more plugin reviews soon, and I'll also be doing some mixing and mastering reviews, and I'll get to those Pro Tools tutorials also. Till next time, we out.